Stocks tumble, Dow drops 400 plus points as virus concerns mount. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to talk about why this is happening, and the answer was in the title of the article, and it's due to the illness. And I'm going to read this article and give you my thoughts, but to just get to the point, there's always been this false dichotomy that either we open up the country, which would be good for business, or we deal with the illness. But I've constantly been saying it's actually not either or. They are 100% tied together, because there are a lot of people that won't be going out to spending their money, going to restaurants, and straight up unable to do any business as long as this illness isn't brought under control. And this is exactly what's happening right now. But before I continue, please hit that like button, because these videos take time to make and research, and I really appreciate it. It helps me out tremendously. Stocks dropped sharply, pointing to another volatile day on Wall Street as investors nervously eyed elevated coronavirus case counts in the US and Europe, weighed outcomes of Election Day next week, and contemplated when another round of fiscal stimulus out of Washington might get passed. The drop in domestic equities came alongside a plunge in European stocks, with the STOXX 600 selling off and hitting the lowest levels since May. Concerns of even more restrictions across the region weighed on global risk assets, with French President Emmanuel Macron set to give a speech later today in France that could be used to announce more lockdowns. And German Chancellor Angela Merkel is considering closing all bars and restaurants in the country for 1 month starting in November, according to a draft proposal obtained by Reuters. In the U.S., hospitalizations related to COVID-19 have risen by at least 10% over the past week across 32 U.S. states and Washington, D.C., according to data compiled by Bloomberg. This is a really big issue. Initially, we thought we had gotten past the first wave, but if you look at the graph of coronavirus cases, we are actually ticking back up, and we actually have not reached new lows either. And you can kind of look at this and do some technical analysis. What do you think the trend looks like? It definitely looks like... Actually, that was really hilarious, because I realized I was looking at Maryland, and that graph actually looked a lot better than this graph, and this is the US total. So this is terrible. I don't know where the first wave was. People say this is the first wave, but it doesn't even seem like we've gotten to the lows of earlier here. So if you do a technical analysis, what's the trend? This is going all the way up. And scientists and researchers have been saying that generally in the summer months, it was going to get better, because there seems to be a relationship between vitamin D and the illness. Basically, if you are vitamin D deficient, you have more chances of getting it and also suffering bad consequences, versus if you're not vitamin D deficient, you actually can battle it better and you also have lower chances of getting it. But now in winter months, when people are more sick on average, when people aren't getting enough sunlight, this is the danger zone. So I think people are finally starting to realize that, and the stock market is reacting accordingly, because before there was a lot of optimism regarding, oh, maybe we might be out of this soon. But now it's starting to sink in that this might be even longer than we thought. The CBOE Volatility Index VIX jumped more than 13% to its highest level in nearly 2 months Wednesday morning. Contracts on the Dow tumbled more than 600 points, led by a drop in shares of Chevron and Microsoft. The latter's decline came after the tech giant reported quarterly revenue that grew a better than expected 12%, as its Azure cloud offering accelerated sales growth from previous period. Guidance for some business units' current quarter performance came in light, however. So I do want to talk about tech stocks. This should have you worried a little bit that even when there are good news, the stock market isn't responding. Tesla also announced generally quite good news with investments, billions of dollars in investments in factories, and also a really good earnings report. There was also a negative ding when it had to recall some cars in China, but generally Tesla had some really good news. And today, let's look at what's happening to Tesla. Today, Tesla is down too. If you look at my portfolio really quick, most of these are bullish plays. This is just a watch list I have. Every single thing is down. The US election is coming up, and I know there's a lot of diverse opinions about politics, but to get my honest opinion, what's going to be best for business now, it's going to be whichever party can get this pandemic handled and under control, because it doesn't matter how many tax cuts a corporation gets or how much stimulus people get either. On both sides, if people live in fear, volatility is so high right now, uncertainty is so high, who would want to invest in its current market right now? Even me dealing with all this, with all my positions, it's very stressful. As a newbie investor, you'll look at this and you would definitely want to stay out, because with the upcoming election, with no idea when this pandemic has an end, all of this uncertainty, it's too much. Now, as an options investor, uncertainty results in higher premiums, but at the same time, uncertainty also means that you have no idea which way the stock is going to move. You have no idea what's going to happen. And come November, I'm going to support the candidate that I believe can get this under control. Even if you personally don't believe that the virus is that serious or it's overblown, the country and the market as a whole does not believe that, and you cannot fight the market as an investor. Obviously, in the long term, the investing strategies should still be the same. Invest in companies you believe in will be successful long term or that you want to support. So that doesn't change. But if you're a trader, which is a type of short-term investor, this all needs to be taken into account. This affects most people now, and we have to get this under control. I think that is priority number one, but please let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do we need to do to get this situation under control? This is Green Knight Trading, where Squires become knights. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you soon.